The night sky above Nevada lit up with strange blue lights. People pointed their phones upward, capturing videos that would soon go viral across the world. For decades, humans had searched the stars and wondered if they were alone. On this cool, April evening, they got their answer. Jack Miller sat in his small office at NASA, eyes glued to the monitor. At 35, he had spent most of his life studying physics and searching for signs of alien life. His dark hair had patches of earlier gray, earned from long nights analyzing data and chasing what many called impossible theories. "Jack, you need to see this," said his colleague Ben, bursting through the door. "They're landing." The alien ship, a massive silver craft shaped like a teardrop, touched down on the Nevada desert floor as military helicopters circled at a safe distance. President Harris addressed the nation that evening, urging calm and cooperation. "This is the moment humanity has waited for," she said. "First contact with an intelligent alien species." Within days, the visitors identified themselves as representatives of the Galactic Council, a group of 17 advanced species that governed most of the known galaxy. The aliens looked almost human, tall, slender beings with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes that seemed to see everything. "We come in peace and friendship," said Zeril, the lead alien diplomat. "Earth has reached a stage where you are ready to join the galactic community." The world's governments quickly formed a special committee to handle first contact. Jack's expertise in advanced physics earned him a spot on the team, alongside Karen Williams, a skilled diplomat known for her sharp mind and calm approach to tense situations. At 40, Karen had negotiated peace deals in some of Earth's most troubled regions, but nothing had prepared her for alien diplomacy. "What do you think they really want?" Karen asked Jack one evening as they reviewed notes in the secure facility built for the diplomatic meetings. Jack shrugged. "Knowledge exchange, probably. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." "Nobody travels across space just to share technology," Karen said, her brown eyes narrowing. "They want something." The alien representatives, mainly from the dominant Viridian and Arcturus species, spoke enthusiastically about trade opportunities, cultural exchanges, and welcoming Earth into their interstellar community. They showed humans holographic images of bustling alien cities, massive space stations, and beautiful planets that would now be open to human visitors. For 6 months, the world celebrated. Stock markets soared as companies rushed to develop products, based on small samples of alien technology the Council had shared. Religious leaders debated the meaning of alien life. Children wore T-shirts with alien faces, and Learn Viridian became the hottest new app. Jack worked closely with the alien scientists, who seemed impressed by his quick understanding of their basic principles. They gave him limited access to their ship's systems for what they called educational purposes. One night, working late, Jack noticed something odd. The ship's computer displayed strange energy readings around Earth. Using his growing knowledge of alien technology, he managed to access files he wasn't supposed to see. "This can't be right," he whispered to himself. The encrypted communications revealed the Council's true intentions. They had classified Earth as a Type 4 developing species, dangerous, unpredictable, and sitting on a resource-rich planet. According to ancient Council protocols, such species were to be contained and harvested. The diplomatic mission was merely a cover to study Earth's defenses and prepare for invasion. With shaking hands, Jack downloaded the evidence to a secure drive. The next morning, he found Karen in the cafeteria of the diplomatic compound. "We need to talk." "Privately," he said quietly. In her office, he showed her the translated documents. Karen's face grew pale as she read the invasion plans. "We need to alert the president immediately," she said, reaching for her secure phone. "Wait," Jack cautioned. "If they're monitoring our communications, they'll know we've discovered them. We need to be careful." They gathered a small group of trusted military officers and scientific advisors in a secure room that had been swept for listening devices. General Frank Peters, a veteran with 30 years of service, reviewed the evidence with growing alarm. "If this is accurate, we're looking at a full-scale invasion with technology we can't hope to match," he said. We need to evacuate key personnel and prepare what defenses we can." "How much time do we have?" asked Dr. Susan Reed, the nation's top weapons researcher. Jack shook his head. "Based on their communications, maybe 3 days before their main fleet arrives." They worked through the night, developing plans to warn world leaders without alerting the aliens. Karen prepared diplomatic packages with the evidence ready to send to every major government. Jack worked with military technicians to analyze potential weaknesses in alien technology. At 3:17 a.m., as they finalized their plans, the sky turned bright as day. The attack had begun early. Orbital energy weapons struck major cities across the planet. Washington, D.C., Moscow, Beijing, London, all were hit within the first 5 minutes. The alien ship in Nevada launched smaller craft that sped toward military bases. Defense systems fired back, but alien shields easily absorbed the impacts. Jack and Karen ran from the compound as explosions rocked the ground around them. They made it to a waiting helicopter, but as it lifted off, an energy beam struck nearby. The blast wave hit the helicopter, sending it spinning toward the ground. Jack was thrown clear during the crash but hit his head on impact. Through blurry vision, he saw Karen being dragged from the wreckage by figures in silver suits. He tried to call out, but darkness overcame him. When he woke hours later in a ditch covered by debris, the world had changed forever. Smoke rose from distant fires. Military jets engaged in hopeless battles with alien craft in the sky. The radio on a dead soldier nearby broadcast emergency messages and reports of invasion across the globe. Millions died in those first hours of what survivors would later call the Midnight Massacre. Jack limped toward the mountains, believing Karen was dead. Karen, captured and loaded onto an alien transport, glimpsed the burning compound and believed the same of Jack. As alien ground forces secured their initial objectives, the full invasion fleet appeared in Earth's skies. The conquest of humanity had begun. 3 years passed since the day the aliens came. Earth was no longer the blue planet of oceans and green forests that space travelers once admired. Now, massive mining pits scarred the surface. Thick smoke rose from factories where humans worked as slaves. The Galactic Council had turned Earth into a resource colony. Karen Williams woke up in her small underground room. The concrete walls were cold and damp, but it was safer than any place above ground. She touched the scar that ran from her right eye to her jaw, a reminder of the day everything changed. After being captured during the initial attack, she had managed to escape during transport by causing a small fire in the alien vehicle. The chaos gave her just enough time to slip away. Now, at 43, she was the leader of the Chicago Resistance Cell. 217 humans looked to her for guidance in the ruins of what was once a great city. "Morning briefing in 5 minutes," said Eli, a former police officer who served as her second in command. His dark skin was ashen from 3 years without sunlight, living in sewers and abandoned subway tunnels. Karen nodded and pulled on her worn jacket. She kept her hair short now. Long hair was a luxury that could get you killed in a fight. She followed Eli through narrow tunnels to a larger chamber where her team waited. "Status reports," Karen said, taking her place at the front. "Food supplies are down to 2 weeks," said Maria, a thin woman who managed their resources. "The last raid didn't get us much." "Medical supplies are worse," added Dr. Harris, an older man with tired eyes. "We have almost no antibiotics left." Karen listened to each report, her face showing nothing of the worry she felt inside. When everyone finished, she spoke in the calm, firm voice that had kept them alive for 3 years. "Today we hit the Eastern Supply Depot. Our scouts report. Fewer guards since they moved forces north. We take what we need and disappear before they know we were there." 500 miles away, Jack Miller worked in an alien research facility. The council had built their main scientific center in the mountains of what was once Colorado, where they forced captured human scientists to help them understand Earth's resources. Jack's hands moved quickly over the alien computer panel, inputting data about mineral samples. His body was thinner now, his face gaunt from years of poor food and long work hours. A guard walked past, and Jack kept his eyes down. The Viridians were the worst guards, quick to punish any human who seemed defiant. What the aliens didn't know was that for 3 years, Jack had been secretly learning their technology. While appearing to be a model worker, he had been gathering information, memorizing security protocols, and slowly sabotaging research that would help the Council extract Earth's resources more efficiently. At night, in his small cell, Jack made careful notes using a code he had developed. He hid these notes in a small hole in the wall behind his bed. If the aliens ever found them, he would be executed immediately. But the risk was worth it for what he had discovered: a fundamental weakness in alien technology. In a remote bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Alan Russell studied a worn paper map. Electronic maps were too risky. The aliens could detect and track digital signals. At 55, Russell had been the highest-ranking military officer to survive the initial attack. His weathered face showed the weight of command. "Their patrols are getting more frequent here and here," he said, pointing to areas in what was once the western United States. "But they're pulling forces from these regions." Around him stood the remains of Earth's military leadership, 5 officers representing what was left of the world's armed forces. Together they commanded fewer than 10,000 soldiers scattered across the globe. "Direct attacks aren't working," said Colonel Wei, who had led 3 failed assaults on alien outposts. "We lose too many people each time." Russell nodded. "That's why we're changing tactics. Small teams, quick strikes. We hurt them and disappear before they can respond." The meeting was interrupted when a communications officer rushed in. "Sir, we're picking up a new resistance broadcast. It's using one of our old encryption codes." The room fell silent as they listened to the crackling message coming through their secure radio. "This is Nightingale. I have accessed their system. I repeat, I have accessed their system. Information follows on this frequency." Lisa Chen sat in a dark closet in an alien communication hub, her fingers flying over a modified alien device. At 30, she had been a cybersecurity expert before the invasion. Now she was the Resistance's greatest hacker. After months of careful study, she had managed to create an interface between human technology and the aliens' neural communication network. For the first time, humans could intercept and decode Council transmissions. The risk was enormous. If discovered, she would face a slow public execution as a warning to others. But the information she was gathering could change the course of the war. Lisa downloaded massive amounts of data to a storage device and slipped it to her contact, a human janitor who worked in the facility. He would pass it to a resistance courier, who would deliver it to one of General Russell's outposts. What the data revealed shocked even the most hardened resistance fighters. The Council was not united in their occupation of Earth. 3 species, the Corti, Procyon, the Taucetians, and the Regelians, had formally protested the invasion, calling it illegal under the Council's own laws. The occupation was being run primarily by the Viridians and Arcturans, who were taking the lion's share of Earth's resources. Even more surprising was the information about Jack Miller. The aliens considered him a valuable asset. His work had been crucial to their mining operations. But there were also security flags in his file, notes about unexplained failures in projects he worked on. The Council suspected something but had no proof. Most importantly, the Resistance now had the location of the Colorado Research Facility. What they didn't have was a way to extract Jack. It was too heavily guarded for a direct assault. Karen studied the information in her underground command center. "We need him," she said firmly. "The report says he's been working on their quantum technology. That could be the key to fighting back." Eli shook his head. "The facility has 500 guards and automated defense systems. It would be suicide." Karen looked at the grainy image of Jack, older, thinner, but unmistakably the man she had believed dead for 3 years. "We're not leaving him there. Start planning. We have someone on the inside who can help us." As resistance cells across, the planet began to coordinate for the first time. A new feeling spread through the scattered human forces. Hope. For 3 years, they had merely survived. Now, they could begin to fight back. The rescue mission took 2 months to plan. Karen studied every detail of the Colorado Research Facility where Jack was held. Lisa Chen had provided building layouts, guard schedules, and security protocols. Still, breaking into one of the most heavily guarded alien facilities on Earth seemed impossible. "We need a distraction," Karen told her team as they gathered around a hand-drawn map. "Something big enough to pull guards away from the main building." Eli pointed to the facility's power station. "If we hit this, they'll have to respond. Their sensitive equipment needs constant power." Karen nodded. "Good. We'll need 3 teams, one for the power station, one for extraction, and one for escape support." The plan took shape over sleepless nights. Karen would lead the extraction team herself. She hadn't seen Jack in 3 years but never stopped thinking about him. Whether he was still the man she remembered remained to be seen. In his cell at the research facility, Jack continued his secret work. For months, he had been studying the aliens' quantum entanglement technology. The Council races used quantum particles to communicate instantly across vast distances. Their ships, weapons, and even their economic system relied on this technology. Jack had discovered something the aliens never considered: a flaw in their quantum network. If disrupted at exactly the right frequency, the entire system could collapse. But building such a device would require parts he couldn't access and knowledge he didn't fully have. On a cold morning in November, alarms blared throughout the facility. Jack looked up from his workstation as guards rushed past the lab. "Power station under attack, all security units respond," came the announcement in the aliens' harsh language, which Jack now understood well. Minutes later, gunfire erupted in the lab. Jack dove under a table as the door burst open. Human fighters in mismatched body armor rushed in, shooting the alien scientists and guards. "Jack Miller?" a woman's voice called out. Jack peered from his hiding place and saw a face he never expected to see again, older, scarred, but unmistakable. "Karen?" he whispered, his voice catching. She rushed to him, her eyes scanning his thin frame. "We need to move. Now." The extraction team fought their way through the facility. 2 resistance fighters fell to alien weapons, but they reached the emergency exit, where an armored vehicle waited. As they sped away, explosions rocked the facility behind them. "I thought you were dead," Jack said, staring at Karen as if she might disappear. She smiled briefly. "Same. We can catch up later. Right now, we need to get to the mountains before they send ships after us." 3 days of careful travel brought them to General Russell's bunker. After medical checks and debriefing, Jack was finally able to share what he had learned during his captivity. In a secure conference room, Jack explained his discovery to Karen, General Russell, and the other resistance leaders. "The Council's entire empire depends on quantum entanglement," Jack said, drawing diagrams on a paper. "They use entangled particles to communicate instantly across space. No delay, no way to block it." "How does this help us?" Russell asked, his weathered face skeptical. "Because I found a flaw," Jack said, his tired eyes bright with excitement. "For the first time in years. Their system has a harmonic frequency, like a musical note that makes a glass shatter when you hit it just right. If we can generate a counter-frequency at the quantum level, we could disrupt their entire network." "You're talking about shutting down their communications?" Karen asked. Jack shook his head. "More than that. Their weapons, shields, navigation systems, even their AI assistants, all use quantum technology. We could disable everything." The room fell silent as they considered the implications. "Can you build this device?" Russell finally asked. "With the right parts, yes. But we'd need equipment from their ships or facilities. And we'd need enormous power to affect more than a small area." Lisa Chen, who had escaped from her infiltration position after providing the facility plans, spoke up. "What if we use their own power against them? The main control hub in what used to be New York has quantum amplifiers for their global network." Russell's team began gathering the necessary components from captured alien technology. Jack worked day and night, building what he called a quantum disruption device. The prototype looked simple, a metal box with antennas and crystals, but its internal workings were incredibly complex. Lisa discovered something crucial while analyzing the data she had stolen. "There's an astronomical alignment coming. The Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn will form a straight line with the galactic center. The aliens use these alignments to boost their quantum signals. Jack's eyes widened. If we activate the device during the alignment, it would amplify the effect throughout their entire network. How far would it reach? Karen asked. Not just Earth, Jack said quietly. If it works as I think it will, the disruption would travel through their network to every connected system, every council world, ship, and outpost. The implications stunned everyone. They weren't just planning to free Earth. They could potentially cripple the entire Galactic Council. General Russell located a suitable power source, a hidden hydroelectric dam in the Antarctic that had escaped alien attention. The Resistance built a secret facility beneath the ice, shielded from alien sensors. Jack and his team of engineers worked to perfect the device while forces worldwide prepared for coordinated strikes. The plan was set. When the quantum disruption triggered, resistance cells would attack key alien installations during the window of opportunity when their technology failed. It was humanity's one chance to take back their planet. The night before the operation, Karen found Jack alone, staring at his device. "Will it work?" she asked, sitting beside him. "The theory is sound. The tests on smaller scales worked perfectly." He paused. "But we're about to hit them harder than anyone has in their 10,000-year history. If it works, we win Earth back, but we'll have made an enemy of the entire galaxy." Karen's hand covered his. "They should have thought of that before they came to Earth." Jack looked at her scarred face, seeing the same determination that had attracted him to her years ago. "I missed you," he said simply. "I know," she replied. "Let's win this war first, then we can talk about everything else." As the astronomical alignment approached, resistance forces worldwide moved into position. Operation Lazarus, humanity's plan to rise from the dead, was about to begin. The day of Operation Lazarus arrived. Across the planet, resistance fighters prepared for the most important battle in human history. In underground bunkers, abandoned buildings, and forest hideouts, men and women checked weapons and said quiet prayers. Many would not survive the day, but all understood what was at stake. In the Antarctic facility, Jack made final adjustments to the quantum disruption device. His hands were steady despite the pressure. 3 years of captivity had taught him patience. Karen stood nearby, coordinating with resistance cells worldwide using a secure communication system Lisa had designed. "Sydney team in position," Karen said, marking a spot on their world map. "London ready, Moscow standing by." General Russell led the largest military operation, a direct assault on the North American Command Center in what was once Washington, D.C. It was the most heavily defended alien position on Earth, with over 1,000 guards and automated defense systems. Attacking it seemed like suicide, but the aliens needed to believe it was humanity's main effort. "All teams are in position," Karen told Jack. "Are you ready?" Jack nodded, his tired face serious. "The astronomical alignment reaches its peak in 17 minutes. We'll activate on my mark." In Washington, D.C., General Russell and 500 soldiers prepared for battle. They hid in the ruins of the old city, weapons ready. Russell looked at his watch. When the disruption hit, they would have minutes, perhaps only seconds, to strike before the aliens could adapt. "Remember," he told his officers, "we only need to hold the command center for 1 hour. That's how long it will take. There's systems to reset after the disruption. Make every shot count." Across the ocean in the ruins of London, Eli led a strike team targeting the European control hub. In Beijing, Colonel Wei prepared to attack the Asian headquarters. Smaller teams worldwide were positioned near vital alien installations, power plants, communication relays, detention centers. In the Antarctic, Jack watched the timer count down. 30 seconds to alignment. Karen squeezed his shoulder. "This is it." "Activating now," Jack said, entering the final command sequence. The device hummed loudly. Lights flickered throughout the facility as it drew enormous power. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Jack checked the readings, his heart sinking. "Did it work?" Karen asked, her voice tense. Before Jack could answer, the monitoring screens lit up with signals from around the world. One by one, resistance teams reported the same thing. Alien technology was failing everywhere. In Washington, alien weapons suddenly deactivated. Their energy shields flickered and died. Even their communication devices fell silent. General Russell gave the order to attack, and human forces charged the confused alien defenders. The same scene played out globally. In London, Eli's team breached the European hub with minimal resistance. In Beijing, Colonel Wei's forces captured the command center intact. Detention centers were liberated as alien controls failed and human prisoners overwhelmed their suddenly vulnerable captors. But something unexpected was happening. The quantum disruption was far more powerful than Jack had predicted. The alignment had created a resonance effect, amplifying the disruption beyond Earth. In the Antarctic control room, Lisa stared at her monitors in disbelief. "Jack, I'm picking up signals from space. The disruption is traveling through their quantum network to other systems." "How far?" Jack asked, stunned. "Everywhere. Their entire network is collapsing. I'm seeing effects as far as their home systems." Karen's eyes widened. "We're not just winning Earth back. We're bringing down their entire empire." Reports flooded in from resistance cells worldwide. The aliens were surrendering in mass numbers, cut off from their command structure and support. Their ships hung powerless in orbit, unable to flee or fight. In Washington, General Russell's forces captured the North American Command Center after fierce fighting. The human casualties were high, nearly 200 dead, but they secured the facility and its valuable intelligence intact. Even more importantly, they captured high-ranking alien officials, including the military governor of Earth. One of the captured aliens, a Viridian commander, stared at Russell with large, dark eyes. "What have you done?" it asked in accented English. "We fought back," Russell answered simply. "The operation continued for 48 hours as resistance forces worldwide secured key installations. Alien survivors, realizing their defeat was total, laid down their weapons. Without their technology, they were vulnerable and outnumbered by the humans they had enslaved for 3 years. In the Antarctic, Jack monitored the quantum disruption's effects. "It's working better than I could have imagined," he told Karen. "Their entire technological infrastructure is paralyzed." Karen looked at the global map, now showing green indicators where human forces had retaken control. "We need to move fast. We have maybe a week before they start recovering their systems." "What do we do with the prisoners?" Lisa asked. Over 100,000 alien soldiers and officials had been captured worldwide. "We treat them better than they treated us," Karen said firmly. "No executions, no torture. We're not them." Jack nodded his agreement. "But we need information. Their ships, their technology. We need to understand it all before they can regroup." For the next week, human forces worked tirelessly to secure their victory. They gathered alien technology, downloaded data from captured systems, and interrogated prisoners. Jack led a team of scientists studying the alien ships that now sat powerless in Earth orbit. The most valuable discovery came from the North American Command Center. In its database, they found complete specifications for Council ships, weapons, and most importantly, the locations of key Council worlds. "We can build our own ships," Jack told Karen and General Russell during a strategy meeting. "With what we've learned, we can match their technology within months, not decades." Russell nodded. "We need to move quickly. The Council will send more ships once they realize what's happened. Then we need to be ready," Karen said. "Not just to defend Earth, but to take the fight to them if necessary." Jack looked at the star maps they had captured, showing the Council's vast territory. "We've done something no one has ever done before. We've defeated the most powerful force in the galaxy." "They won't forgive that. They started this war," Karen replied. "We're going to finish it." As the week ended, the liberation of Earth was complete. For the first time in 3 years, humans walked freely under the open sky. The alien occupation, forces were contained in makeshift prison camps. Earth's long nightmare was over, but the greater challenge of securing humanity's future was just beginning. The world was quiet for the first time in years, not with fear, but with peace. Jack stood outside the Antarctic facility, staring up at the sky. The stars looked different now. Not just lights in the darkness. They were places, destinations, warnings, promises. He had spent so long underground in shadows and hiding that the cold wind on his face felt like a gift. Beside him, Karen approached. "We've done it," she said softly. "Earth is free." He nodded, still watching the stars. "But freedom is just the beginning. Now we decide what comes next." The global broadcast came the following day. All surviving human leaders and resistance commanders gathered, virtually and in person, to speak as one voice. The message was simple. We are no longer the occupied. We are the awakened. Around the world, humans celebrated. Statues of alien overlords were torn down. Fields once scorched by orbital bombardments bloomed again. Children born in hiding stepped out into sunlight for the first time. And above all, people began to believe in hope. But no one forgot the cost. In the ruins of Washington, General Russell led a memorial service. Rows of helmets marked the dead. Soldiers, civilians, engineers, doctors, all had given their lives to win back Earth. "They thought we were weak," Russell said to the crowd. "They thought humans would break, but we bent, and we survived. And now we rise." In the coming weeks, a new organization was formed. The Earth Unity Council. Not a government of old borders, but a unified command to defend humanity and prepare for what came next. Alien prisoners were treated humanely, just as Karen promised. Some offered valuable intelligence in exchange for mercy. Others stared silently, knowing they had been part of something dark, something that had failed. Jack and Lisa led efforts to reverse engineer alien technology. In a massive hangar outside Nairobi, the first Earth-built starship took shape. It was called Phoenix, a symbol of rebirth. It wasn't just a ship, it was a message. We are coming. Lisa found something strange while decoding the alien archives, a message buried deep in council communications. A warning from a smaller species ignored by the Viridians. "They aren't the only ones out there," she said during a meeting with Jack and Karen. "There's something worse, something they were afraid of." "Another empire?" Karen asked. "No, something older," Lisa replied. "Something that made even the council retreat." Jack leaned over the data. "Then we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for our future in a galaxy filled with giants." They named their mission Operation Horizon, a deep space expedition to learn more, protect humanity, and if necessary, strike first. Before Phoenix launched, Jack returned to his old home, now just ruins and dust. He walked through the broken walls, past the trees growing wild through cracked pavement. He picked up a small toy from the ground, a child's action figure, covered in dirt, forgotten. He held it gently, then looked up again at the sky. "We survived," he whispered. "We won. Now let's make sure no one ever forgets what humans can do." The Phoenix lifted off weeks later, its powerful engines roaring through the atmosphere. Thousands watched from around the world. Humanity was not just rebuilding. It was reaching. Karen stood beside Jack in the command center. "Are you ready for this?" she asked. Jack gave a tired smile. "I was born ready. We all were. We just didn't know it yet." As Phoenix disappeared into the stars, a message was broadcast once more across Earth and beyond. "To any who would come to enslave us again, remember, this day, humanity kneels to no one." The war for Earth was over. The war for the stars had just begun, and humanity would never be caught unprepared again.